welcome. If this is your first time on this channel, click on my About page, and read what I wrote to get a better idea as to what this channel is all about. A guy is in a fancy restaurant wearing a ball cap, and Tony Soprano walks over to him, demanding that he take off his headwear. There's so much irony to the story. The first part of the irony is that fancy non-vegan restaurants, like I'm sure is the case with the restaurant in this scene, try to pass for being the pinnacle of what is considered civilized while they profit off harming sentient beings, which is the most uncivilized thing possible. The second part of the irony is that Mr. Soprano accuses the guy of being rude for the horrible crime of simply wearing a ball cap in the restaurant, which I'm sure is causing so much harm all around him, when in fact it's Mr. Soprano who is being rude for not minding his own business, and instead choosing to bother a complete stranger about a piece of clothing on top of his head that he demands be removed. And the third part of the irony is that Mr. Soprano and his balding buddy should have been the ones wearing the headwear in the scene to cover up their male pattern baldness and frame their faces, instead of rudely forcing us to see their unaesthetic balding heads in a fancy restaurant. Of course, I'm just saying this to let off some steam because the injustice of the scene makes me angry. If you enjoy sporting your balding head, you have my full support. Now, unlike Mr. Soprano, if you're actually an intelligent person, you would have an ability to anticipate possible unforeseen reasons as to why someone might be wearing headwear in a fancy restaurant. Imagine how stupid Mr. Soprano would look, and how embarrassed he would feel, assuming he's not a psychopath, if the man in the fancy restaurant was wearing the headwear because he has a huge scar and disfiguring tumorous growths on the top of his head, and after having an operation to remove as much as possible, it was determined that the cancer is terminal, so he only has about a week left to live, and just wanted to have one final night out with his loved one, and not draw any attention to his disfigured head. Plus he loves wearing that ball cap because he likes the way it makes him look, and his girl gave it to him as a present, so it has sentimental value. Or if a guy were to have a mental health disorder, and his ball cap is his security blanket, which he needs to wear in order to feel safe and comfortable. As the old saying goes, don't judge a book by its cover, and in this case the appropriately named cover is headwear. Wearing headwear indoors is not rude or silly. Let's make it socially acceptable to wear headwear at any indoor location for aesthetic purposes to avoid any unforeseen complications. I've included a link to the Sopranos TV show, Take Off Your Hat restaurant scene, in the description below. Thanks for watching, until the next video.